This week we looked at our final part of the series, our On Being or Faith and Being series from Krista Tippett's interviews. And interesting enough, we ended with Christian Wyman, a poet and a writer and editor, and someone who grew up in Dallas at First Baptist Church and really, in some sense, evolved his faith to an understanding of a God beyond the sort of concrete or the simple definitions that he grew up with. And he points at one point in the interview, I want to read some of this to you, to Bonhoeffer. And if you don't know Bonhoeffer was a clergyman in Nazi Germany and was imprisoned for his resistance to not helping the Nazis rebuild at a time when the church was being complicit with the Nazis. Nazi flags hung in Protestant churches in Germany at the time. And Bonhoeffer decided not to escape to America, but to return to Germany and affect his work there and really answer the call. And at one point in the interview, Wyman says this of Bonhoeffer: he didn't share in the destruction of Germany, then he couldn't credibly participate in its restoration. He also simply felt that he had a call. We wait and we wait and we wait for the right thing to do in our lives, but he says, no, you've got to obey. Follow the impulse, as hazy as it is, and then your faith will come. You don't get it first. You don't get it first. So he lost his life in that. He also said at one point, you know, God has called us to be in the world, a world without God. And so this sermon really is an examination of faith and doubt and how we evolve our faith, how we evolve these understandings of God, and how we answer different calls in our lives, even sometimes that lead us to the end of our lives, like it did to Bonhoeffer. I'm not going to focus so much on Bonhoeffer except for right now, and just to point to him. If you don't know some of his writings, he has some beautiful letters. But to say something about that line, to be before God and without God, is what Wyman says, is to live a life of faith. And that's very much something that relates to how I understand my theology, that says there is God beyond and within. And sometimes it means to live in a world without even encountering God, but always striving to. And so I want to ask you that question. How do you understand God? Not just the rejection of God, but how do you understand that sacred quality of your life in the world?